Hey y'all, have you ever noticed that we start looking at what we have or don't have to decide how rich we are? I mean, we do it with everything. We do it with our marriages, our kids, our jobs, our health, our homes. How many people wish they had your life until social media came along and convinced them, no, that's not good enough for them? We start measuring our lives by what everybody else has. And before we know it, we walk around feeling like we're in lack, even though God has already blessed us so many ways. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve your life. And I think God puts dreams in our hearts. I just don't think that He expects us to sit around on the couch eating Oreos and watching Netflix waiting for a miracle to come along. You know, there's a difference between having goals and believing our joy is waiting on the other side of them. Because here's what I've learned. If your joy or my joy depends on getting one more thing, we're always going to need one more thing. We finally get the raise, then we want the promotion. It's not good enough. You finally buy the house, you got it. Now you got to have a bigger house. You need more room, you need more yard, a bigger garage. You finally lose the weight, then you're just always worried about gaining it back. The finish line just keeps getting moved. And I think that's because we're confusing abundance with accumulation. Jesus never did. In fact, Jesus said, look at the birds. Don't you love that? He said, look at the birds. He didn't say, look at the millionaires. He said, look at the birds. He didn't say, look at the celebrities. He said, look at the birds. He didn't say, look at all the people who seem to have it figured out. He said, look at the birds. And have you ever seen a bird sitting on a power line having a nervous breakdown because another bird found a nicer tree? No. They're not comparing nests. They're not scrolling through bird talk. They simply trust the God who created them to provide everything that they need. And Jesus said, are you not much more valuable than the birds? Think about that for a minute. If God sees every sparrow, every robin, every hummingbird, do you think He's really overlooked us? And then a few verses later, Jesus says, my favorite verse in the whole Bible, but seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all of these things will be given to you as well. I think about that verse all the time. He didn't say, seek all these things first. He said, seek me. Because He knows something that we forget. He knows everything. He knows if we spend our lives chasing things, we'll never, ever, ever catch enough of them to satisfy our hearts. But when we chase God, everything changes. We start noticing blessings that we missed before. We start thanking Him for things that we used to overlook. We stop seeing life through the lens of what we don't have and start seeing it through the lens of how faithful He's always been. I want to tell you something I've learned the hard way. The poorest I have ever felt wasn't necessarily when I had the least. It was when I was comparing myself the most. Comparison will make a blessed life feel really, really empty. But gratitude will make an ordinary life, an ordinary Tuesday, feel like a big gift. Now, does that mean life is always easy? Absolutely not. Bills are real. Heartbreak is real. Waiting is real. There's still prayers I'm praying. There's still things I'm asking God for. And there will always be things I'm asking Him for. It isn't about pretending that everything is perfect. It's about refusing to let what I don't have keep me from seeing what God has already done. Because if all I ever focus on is what's missing, I'm going to miss the miracle of what's already here. Maybe abundance isn't having everything you've ever wanted. Maybe abundance is waking up every morning, knowing that the same God who has carried you this far is not about to stop now. Maybe abundance is peace. That doesn't make sense. Maybe it's hope when your circumstances haven't changed. Maybe it's laughing around the kitchen table with the people you love the most. Maybe it's just a quiet cup of coffee with Jesus before the rest of the house wakes up. Maybe it's realizing that some of the richest moments in your life never cost a dime. So today, instead of asking yourself, what don't I have? Ask yourself, what has God already given me that I've stopped noticing? Because I have a feeling if we start answering that question every day, we would realize we're a whole lot richer than we thought. And that's the kind of abundance I think Jesus was talking about. Now, go love on each other. Encourage one another. That's what we need. I love you.